Hey, welcome back. It's Salty here. Just kind of, I don't know. I'm trying something new, giving you guys a little intro, just real quick. But real quick, I wanted to cover this today. Recently, I came across this tweet from Hungary saying, and he's been saying this for years. I've been saying this for years. A lot of other pros have been saying this for years. But we need more international LAN events. Like, yeah, again, it wasn't feasible after 2020 because of COVID, the restrictions that it brought. We tried the Land League here in NA, and it didn't go over too well because because again, COVID happened right there. So I we tried under I think it was Face It. I think it was Face It. I think it was the Face It Land League. I could be wrong before they switched entirely to Blast. I'm not. I don't remember that. I don't remember who was in charge of the comp scene at that time. But I think we need to adopt kind of a more open style of competition, kind of like Counter Strike has. I think Siege has hit that point where we can start seriously talking about giving us more events on the calendar. Because, like Hungary says specifically, is shorter breaks between events would mean less cooldown for viewers or less downtime for viewers, additional addiction connection to the game, which is true, and to the esport of the game. Like flat out, it is true because everyone knows that this feeling after a good after especially the good major we had in Salt Lake. I was lucky I got to attend Salt Lake. I didn't take really too many videos there, didn't vlog it too much because I live here in Utah. There's not really much else outside of my experience inside of the major venue to really vlog and show. But yeah, I want to be like that and then hops into the game. That's a true statement. That happens. It happens after every Worlds game. It happens after MSI every time it's good for League. It happens after every major event that happens in Counter Strike. And you get one of those good games and you see all of these clips, it makes people want to boot up that game. Makes them want to play. And so that's what Hungary's advocating for here. Right? They said, also, I don't know if you guys realize, but what seems to be is that Siege is adding custom game modes like hide and seek, and they are trying to improve the custom games, which lets you adjust way more settings to maybe even create your own game modes. Right? So they're now adding that, which is going to go on and add just more creativity inside of the Siege engine and the Siege game in and of itself, and allow a lot more content to come out of Siege rather than just what you see traditionally now, which is ranked Pro League clips, um, PC checks, drama videos. Shout out Yardy. Outside of that, I mean, there's not really much else to do for content around Siege, and so I kind of just wish that it would change that a little bit, give us that. But obviously, modding would be even better. But it's a good start. Yeah, but it holds us into the same ecosystem and we get bored. We get really bored from playing the same game over and over and over and over again. It's good for players because you learn the game. But with CS, I mean, you have the skin community, you have surfing, Siege, we have hide and seek, and I've just seen a new video about an R6 spleefing mode. So there is that. I mean, but outside of that, I mean, that's just not. It's not everything we need. So yeah, and Hungry puts it best as well. They're just not gonna save Siege this year, but it's gonna push it back up. Siege back in its heyday, back when I played the game, used to be among the top esports. It the tier went League of Legends, Counter Strike, Rainbow Six Siege, and that was it. Those were the top three esports. Top three, flat out top three. Fortnite started to jump up, but it still wasn't there in terms of competitive esports because it was fresh, it was new, and of course and of course all of the how do I want to put it? All of the battle royale games started getting their own pro league scenes. Like the CDL was still big, but it Wasn't quite as big back around 2019, 2020. But this is currently what the esports calendar looks like. Okay, so this is January. Nothing. Dead air. We had December, which was which were SI qualifiers, last chance qualifiers, whatnot, NAL finals, stuff like that. Okay, you get to January and it's dead air. You know what you could have instead is let's look at the CS. Let's look at the CS calendar here. Let's go to events. Let's go all events. This works. So here's how the CS calendar looks. As you look, there's one player break here in December, two in June. They have two separate player breaks. But February, I mean, February has one event for now. There's gonna be more. Don't get me wrong, there's gonna be a lot more there. But if you see, like June is packed full, and it even still has the major then. Because it can pull viewership, because there are more than just because more of these newer teams are getting out there. Like if you've been watching Element Quals or Element Series recently, there's been an increased viewership for that. And while yes, it is partnered with Ubisoft and they're kind of growing it, it's all online. I think we would benefit more from LAN leagues, like like we have with the Blast Open Porto. Like it's online until you get to the playoffs, then it's LAN. You got Starlighter doing stuff similar thing. And it just brings more eyes, allows more playtime, gets rid of downtime, and really just fills it. Yes, there is a concern of potentially burnout. We don't know. The burnout could happen, but the difference between CS and Siege is CS matches aren't near as long as Siege matches are, because CS runs what's called MR12. So you go 12 rounds, then you switch. And it's infinite overtime. So if you go to overtime, you have to win by 4. Or give or take 4, 2, 4. You play MR3 at that point, and so if you go 3-0, you have to win 1. So on and so forth. You keep going. If you go 3-3 again, you go into a second overtime. That's why CS matches take longer. But again, back to the Siege calendar here. February, we had SI, filled SI, and then dead air from the end of February, dead air until the end of March when we finally got APL, which is the Asia Pacific League, which is good for them. Like, I promise you, good for them. We have APL. We can't really watch APL too much. Then you have CNL. SAL starts, and then April's full, and then May you have the major, and then dead air for 2 weeks, almost 3 full weeks. Then we get back into the CNL, and then finally, by the time any game starts, we are almost 3 full weeks out of the major. That's not good, especially when most of your viewership comes from Brazil, the US, and European. And then finally, we get to July. We end July with the end of the SAL, end of the NAL, end of the APL, end of the CNL. And then we keep going, and we're dead air. Dead air all through August, all through September. It could be that they don't have anything scheduled. But for the most part, that's how it is you just see a lot of dead air here. And that's just how it is. That's how Siege always is. That's how they've been. That's how they've been. That's how it's been since I remember. There's a lot less there, and that's fine. It's really fine. But it could be a lot better if we can fill it kind of like this schedule and lay it out better. Because again, we've got an increased viewership, like massive increase. Jinxie co-streams, Mint co-streams, Fet co-streams, the international co-streamers. Pengu does it when he's not on the desk or casting. I don't know everyone else. I'm forgetting one. What's his name? Raza. You're forgetting Raza. Like all of these coach streamers are bringing eyes to the game, and that is really good. Now we need to start capitalizing on that. This is what viewership is. What this isn't going to tell you. Hold on. Hold on. Chat fucked up for a second. What this isn't going to tell you is, if we look at it, look, they've had 3 events and this is their averages, right? What this doesn't tell you is a lot of this comes from co-streams. Co-streamers like Flom, like Onipixel, like Gales, like there's a couple more I'm forgetting. Cooper, Austin, Trotta, stuff like that. These co-streamers who made their start streaming just smaller tournaments, but still had an effect to get you to a place to qualify to the major. I honestly think, and I truthfully believe, we need to adopt a major system like Counter-Strike has, where you have a full stage 1. It fills the entire month. The entire month's the major. But you have this, where you have 16 teams again. You take the top 8. They then move on to the second stage, where you face the next highest, or you go. So how it goes is stage 3, which is the top 8 ranked teams in the world. Barring a couple exceptions, it goes to, I think it's the top 5 EU teams, top 3 NA teams, and it's split up into European, Americas, and APAC, which is essentially just China and Brazil, or China and Australia at this point. And that's what it does. And then you split it off, you seed them properly, where you get all of these teams here, top 8. They wait, so they get an extended break for boot camping practices, and you don't have to fly them in until later, but it builds hype to this stage 3, and finally it builds hype to the playoff system. Then stage 2, next highest 8, brings them in, and so on and so forth. But the way to qualify to majors is, where are the VRS rankings? Pull them up. Is by the VRS rankings, which let me. Okay, HLTV, I get it. Give me a second. Let me pull it up. Results. No. We're doing this live. All right, we're doing this live. Is the VRS rankings here, right? Europe, Americas, and Asia. Asia includes Australia, but this is how you qualify to the major. The major cutoff mark is right here, top 32 for the most part. At least I think it's 32. Let me go through this. 16, yeah, top 32 teams in the world. You earn points kind of like SI points, which qualify you for SI, but they do it for the major in its entirety. Now, this is updated to post-major invites going out. But for the most part, it's just top 32 teams go to the major, fight for their spot. The way it works is, here's the VRS invite tab. Actually, that's not how it works. You go through Europe. You got to be, I think it's top 16 in Europe, top 12, something like that. The cutoff's right around here. And you make the major from Europe. The Americas obviously have their own ranking system that can make the major. And then Asia has its own as well. And that's how you qualify. And I think we could benefit more from that open system, give us more major events, open up our, I'm just talking in circles here, open up our ecosystem, allow ESL to host partnered events, allow Star Ladder, allow, what's their name, Perfect World, stuff like that. And allow for stuff like this, where iBuyPower Masters FML, the streamer Flom, actually puts on this tournament. He hosts it himself, It's a Valve sanctioned tournament and it has VRS implications, which means it gives you points to qualify to the major. I think we need to start looking in and trying to adopt something like this. I think we should start asking and making noise at Ubisoft to look into something like this. They've already started, but I just wanted to pull this up. These are the viewership numbers for all of the events that have been going on in Siege. I'm going to go over only the 20 that have happened, or the top 20 right now that have happened. But look, we peaked at 250,000 for the major, which is the highest, if I remember correctly, the highest statistics of Siege that has happened, or the highest viewership numbers that have happened in Siege. Look, even Element, peak viewers, 867. It's not going to give me the average, but it's giving you peak. Average, I think, is around 5 to 600. Okay. CNL, you're getting 390. APAC, 13,000 peak viewers, 11,000, 34,000, 46,000. Like, the viewership's there. Flat out, the viewership is there. It is something we can accomplish, something we can do. Peak viewers 521,000. That was at SI. Like, SIs are always going to have higher viewership numbers. I wonder if this will give me the average. I just want heat map of average viewers. But look, Nesk has 619 viewers. 232. I think Apex going on right now. Let's check. Apex is not going on right now. Yeah, Apex not going on right now. Or am I? I'm here. Right? But stuff like this, we have the viewership numbers there. We need to capitalize on it. Like, these are events that I didn't even know about. I didn't know Belgian Masters existed. I didn't know the R6 Central Combine existed. But I really wish this would give me average viewers. Actually, we might be able to find it. Again, we're doing this live. Average viewership. Let's see if I can find it. So we averaged 106,000 concurrent viewers. That is a 105% increase in average viewership compared to the previous major, which is huge. But here's our historical benchmarks, right? 268,000, historical high. We peaked at 254,000. Not quite 2019, but as you can see, it was there. We need to take advantage of it. Here's our average viewers, 14,000 average viewers. That's enough to where if the official Rainbow Six account starts getting more active or starts promoting other tournaments and stuff like that, like properly, I think we could honestly make something of it, bring more money back into the system. But that's really all I have for you. I'm not really going to do too much editing. I'm probably going to give this to you purely raw because I did just about everything I needed to in one take. Call me Yardy. I'm a one-take Andy. But, this is even better. It breaks down average viewership. Like, we are averaging consistently. Let me do this math real quick. Just year to date. Like, year to date. Look at that. I get it looks like it falls off, but that's because there's not really anything going on these months. Right? There's not really much that goes on during those months, and this is the category as a whole. So you see average streams, there's not much here. August through December is really a dead time in the game's life. But year to date, this is average viewers, and especially if we can start opening up more co-streaming rights, allow a little bit more openness to it, Well, let me pull up my phone and do the math on this real quick. All right, let's do this. 19 oh 19,209 plus 14,005 plus 16,443 plus 17,622 plus 16,014 83,000 total views across 5 months so far. That's 16,000 average. We can do an entire year as well and just see what that looks like. 37061 plus 23674 plus 15,461 plus 18,355 plus 25,471 plus 15,720 plus 12,794 plus 8,293 plus 6,305 plus 8,238 plus 8,662 plus 7,883 divided by 12. That's still a 15,000 viewer average a month. We could do really, really well and kind of just explode, help push us back to that top. Especially because, look, we can capitalize on a lot too, because these are the average streams, and there's not really that many consistently. Whereas if we go through and we look at Counter-Strike, because Counter-Strike is really, really saturated. See? Compared to what Siege is, it's really saturated. But we don't have anyone really out there besides a Jinxie, pretty much just Jinxie. And it was Shroud at one point. Shroud did bring a lot of eyes to this game when he was here originally, but he's not here anymore. We only have Jinxie who's bringing all of those eyes. And now Fett's kind of doing it, starting to do it. He does really well with the Ghost streams. Mint does really well. King George does really well. But people like that, Varsity, when he actually does, Fresh, Pengu, again, the co-streamers do really well, and that's where we average a lot more of our viewers, is because you have these co-streamers who can give live reactions that they get either sitting from their home while they're co-streaming events. But I personally feel strongly for this game. I love this game. I don't want this game to die. I really think that's something we can do. Ubisoft, I'm speaking to you directly here. I do think it's something you can look into. If you need some ideas, need some help, or want a full-blown presentation, I can give that to you. If you want me to explain to you how VRS works with Counter-Strike and how I think we can replicate it in Siege, I'm here. I can explain it the best I can. I know a little bit. I don't know too much, but I know a little bit. So if everyone else agrees, just start blasting this video everywhere. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share it, get it in the algorithm, get it going out. Just real quick, 6-7. We gotta have it. We gotta have it. I'm sorry, we gotta have it. But that's all I really got for you today. See ya.